Hello guys, it's David here. Hope you're doing really well. This is a vlog of our first full day, well, kind of day, 1 day and a half of our visit to Caleta to Fuste in Fuerteventura. So we flew out from Luton on a nice EasyJet flight, and it was pretty easy actually. I was surprised how easy to navigate Luton Airport was. EasyJet flew out on time, no problems, great flight, and we left a very miserable, wet, and increasingly windy England. Needless to say, we were very much looking forward to leaving the country because obviously the weather forecast was pretty bad. So flight was smooth, everyone was happy. First thing we saw pretty much in the evening was a cat, so you'll see plenty of cats around in Caleta, and they all appear to be very friendly. And this is a very cute black cat that reminds me very much of my old cat Luna, except without a little white patch on the top. But we have stayed in the Florida resort in Caleta de Fusta. We booked an apartment and it's very nice. Can't fault it, to be honest. The only thing I would say that we would have loved is a bit of aircon, but there are fans aplenty. The pool outside looks great. Haven't been in it yet, but looks very nice indeed. The rooms are spacious. The toilets and the shower are lovely. Absolutely immaculate. Can't fault anything on that front. You can invite your friends over for a coffee, a drink. Also, there's a little outdoor terrace section, so we are able to sit outside and drink or eat al fresco. We went for a little walk around. There was a shopping centre, and we checked out a few restaurants. Siobhan restaurant, I think it was called. And we just basically took a little walk around just to sort of decompress a little bit. I was surprised because I'd obviously heard that it could be rather windy in Fuerteventura, and today is supposedly a windy day. The wind was blowing a little bit, and I must admit, prior to the trip, I was thinking, oh gosh, is that going to be an issue? But absolutely not. Super warm, and any wind you kind of don't really notice, to be honest, because it's so hot. Don't let those clouds deceive you. It was very warm, and in fact, we saw the temperature at one point, and it was 29 degrees, and it was super hot. In fact, we caught a little bit of sunshine. This just seems to be another rerun here on this video of the shopping centre. So, needless to say, there are shops and restaurants plenty here. As I say, it's my first time in Caleta, but not my partner's first time at the rodeo in Caleta de Fusta. We went to a Euro spa, and it was a little bit difficult to navigate. So I do think Lidl have a few shops around, but you might want to check where those are. But I'll probably know in later vlogs. But the Eurostar was Euro Spa was very ample, and for your basic needs like water and anything else like booze or snacks and stuff, you're not going to struggle in terms of shops and places that you can grab anything that you might need. We did manage to find a parking spot. Loads of touristy, kind of sort of super fun, slightly tacky tourist shops where you're very likely to get a souvenir for your friends or family. But we needed to buy a baseball hat just for some protection, so not a problem. We found everything that we needed, which was good, and we just walked about. And as you can see, very relaxed. Also, another thing that we noticed, and yes, obviously it's September, the demographic, I would say, of clientele, particularly in Caleta, is very British. Bit of slap and tickle there, and which I think is a karaoke style bar. It's an older clientele, and I think for us, that works absolutely perfectly. Look, we're not here to party, we're not here to rave, we're here to relax, have a good time, and enjoy ourselves. You have the British corner area, which is a few pubs and bars and places that are sort of very British. I mean, we're not particularly angling towards a sort of British themed so to speak. We're really happy to enjoy a bit of everything that we have here, but there really is something for everybody, particularly if you are English and you kind of want to stick to your own cuisine. Not quite sure why you'd want to do that, but some people would. So you do have that. There is a golf course which is part of the Barcello Hotel. Some of this is very random and ad hoc, but I'm just watching this, narrating as we speak. But there are plenty of things to do. Mini golf. There's also tennis courts, and I think at this point it was probably 2:30, 3 o'clock, and it was 29-30 degrees, so it was exceptionally hot. So do take care. Make sure you slather up. Make sure that you've got plenty of sun cream and your hats and everything. And we went to a place called Amares for a little bit of food. I have to say, really good. Check it out. It was very, very tasty. We thoroughly enjoyed that. Then we went on a walk to find the elusive, or perhaps not so elusive, ground squirrels. So it does look like a slightly arid, abandoned place here, but if you know where to look, then you will be rewarded. But I would say bring some water, bring some nuts, unsalted, because you don't want anything too salty to feed to the ground squirrels. Now the ground squirrels effectively are little chipmunks, and I must admit I was walking here thinking what's going on, and then thinking no one here, then thinking actually I feel like I'm being watched. um, and I sort of was thinking, gosh, it's a bit like Star Wars here, the planet Tatooine, if you're a Star Wars fan. But it didn't take long for these scampish beasts to come running out, because they know the drill. And they know that there are people like ourselves that will happily feed, and they will take nuts out of your hand. And we brought some water and probably about 3 bags of nuts, and we made sure that they all went away very satisfied. In fact, I think not only did we fill up a food bowl, so some locals obviously do probably take care of them because they're food bowls, there's water bowls. We did fill the water bowls up, and I think the squirrels had so many nuts that they decided to bury them as well, which is clearly a sign that they've got enough. Anyway, so we enjoyed them, and we left them to have their fun. We headed off in the evening after a nap to the Millennium Bowl. It was very good, actually. I got a bit tipsy off one pina colada, not sure what happened there. Then we went to a restaurant called Hopscotch, which was very tasty, and this cat did a little hopscotch and scotched off into the evening. So